Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway. It's the world center of racing, and we are here for some NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series action as we are one step closer to the Great American Race in season number 7. It's time for the Daytona 500 and open out this season here at Daytona Beach, Florida. I am Michael Avery, joined by Kobe Lavin on the pre-race midway. Yesterday, off broadcast, these teams and drivers participated in pole qualifying for the Daytona 500. Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson locked up the front row for this weekend's race, meaning that they will automatically reside on the front row for the 500 as long as they don't wreck and then have to go to a backup car in the dual races.
Field tonight will be split up in half for a pair of 5-lap races. Unless Larson or Briscoe win their duel, the duel winners will start in the row 2 behind them. Each duel sets a lane for a race, with Duel 1 setting the inside lane and Duel 2 setting the outside. Each duel will also have open cars who are not locked into the race, mainly smaller teams.
Yes, thank you for explaining that, Kobe. That is very insightful. Thankfully, we have a large amount of drivers trying to qualify for this race with 13 open cars participating, a Pepsi Cup Series record. But only 4 of them will make the show, 2 from each duel. And not to brag, but in a moment, I will be hopping into one of those cars in duel number 2, piloting the number 58 Doublemint machine in Honda's first ever attempt in the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series. But a little bit more on that later. And the open cars are all split up into, we tried to get them as close as we could to even. Unfortunately, we weren't able to split a car in half. So because of the odd numbers, Duel 1 will have 7 cars and Duel 2 will have 6. And the top 2, as I said, will transfer into the Daytona 500, and the others will have to pack up and go home. I apologize, but keep it on the air.
Yes, Michael. Duel 1's open cars are Jimmie Johnson in the 84, Sheldon Creed in the 14, Greg Biffle in the 44, Sean Winship in the 61, Riley Herbst in the 18, Kaz Gralla in the 50, and Kevin Harvick in the 29.
Duel number 2's open entries are Helio Castroneves in the number 91, Parker Retzlaff in the 62, Corey LaJoie in the 15, BJ McLeod in the 78, Cody Ware in the 51, and myself in the 58, as mentioned earlier.
Switching topics, let's look at our pole sitter for both this race and the Daytona 500, Chase Briscoe. Briscoe looks strong over a lap, but maybe he won't be in the draft, as that car was not very stable when behind other cars. Leading the pack, though, that could be another story.
Yeah, I talked to Chase Briscoe's crew chief, James Small, about what the problem was going into the duels, and they said that they just feel like that the car, it's great in clean air, but in dirty air it's really hard to make a move. The car just it feels a little bit twitchy in dirty air behind other cars. So hopefully they did make those changes and it'll be fine here in traffic today. But before we get ready to go, we should also talk about one of the most anticipated driver changes in Pepsi Cup Series history over at Trackhouse Racing. Kobe, you want to fill us in on that?
That's right, Michael. Daniel Suarez was moved to a part-time schedule, booted from the 99 and now down to the 91 car to make way for young phenom Connor Zilisch. Do you guys think Connor was rushed to Cup too soon? He has a chance here this season to show everyone that he was. Personally, I would have liked if he stayed another year in the Xfinity Series, but Trackhouse knows best.
Yeah, agreed, definitely. We will be watching that this season. I personally think Connor Zilisch, he's a very talented race car driver. We've seen all the stuff that he did. He won the Rolex 24, like 18 years old or something. Won his Xfinity on debut. I'm kind of glazing a little bit, my apologies. But he's a very talented race car driver, has a lot of potential if treated correctly, which so far it seems that he has with Trackhouse, running in the lower series. But does he have enough experience that he ran in Xfinity, like I guess we're kind of repeating ourselves at this point, to transition to Cup? Some drivers we've seen in the past, they've been rushed up and they've become a bust. So I don't want to become another footnote on the Black Flags Matter YouTube channel. But anyways, when we get back, it's time to start the duels in Daytona. When we head up back to the booth, it'll be to start the Budweiser Duel #1, coming up right after this short break.
Hello and welcome everyone to Daytona International Speedway. I am Ethan Shield, joined by Timothy Brown, and we are getting ready for the opening race of the season, the qualifying races, the Budweiser Duels here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy race here today. We saw a lot of crazy racing in the Bud Shootout, and I expect to see a lot more today.
Jimmie Johnson comes into today's race looking for his third Daytona 500. He's one of the big names who is in an open entry today. We have 7 of them in Duel 1. Only 2 will make it into the Daytona 500. It'll be interesting to find out who starts where as the field rolls off. Here's a look at the starting lineup. Chase Briscoe is alongside Bubba Wallace on row number 1.
And in row number 2, we have Chase Elliott next to Ethan Shield.
Row 3, we have Kevin Harvick, an open car, starting alongside Alex Bowman.
And in row 4, we got William Byron next to Carson Hosterborn.
Row 5, we have Noah Gragson and Ross Chastain.
In row 6, we got Jimmie Johnson next to Chandler Smith.
Row 7, we have Denny Hamlin and another open car, Sheldon Creed.
In row 8, we got AJ Allmendinger next to Riley Herbst.
Herbst is an open car too. Zane Smith starts alongside another open car, that's Sean Winship.
And rounding out your top 20 is Eric Jones and Brad Keselowski.
Connor Zilisch makes his debut. He starts alongside Joey Logano.
And in row 12, we got Ryan Blaney next to Castrollo.
Rounding out the field, we have Greg Biffle starting 25th and last. Here's a look at some race info for both races today. There are 5 laps each. 2 open cars from each race will make the show. There are 7 in this duel and 6 in the next. The winners will start in row 2 unless one of the front row sitters from qualifying yesterday crash. Briscoe and Larson are those 2 drivers. They just need to finish their respective duels. The field comes out of turn number 4. We're ready to set the field for the Season 7 Daytona 500. Green flag is in the air for Chase Briscoe and Bubba Wallace.
The Toyota cars set it off into turn number 1. They're going to keep staying side by side as they head off the 2.
Briscoe in that 19 car getting the push out in front from the 9 of Chase Elliott. Bubba Wallace, a fellow Toyota, to Briscoe on that outside lane. Now Briscoe will hop up and try to pick him up, and he's trying to block those lines at the end of 1 lap.
See Elliott now with the run on the bottom with Kevin Harvick as the Toyota guys on the outside are trying to work together but are not making anything develop anymore.
On the backstretch, whoa, big moment there. Harvick shuffled into the middle, and he is going backwards.
Yeah, nearly a big wreck right there. That was right in the front of the field, but that allows the Toyota guys to get back to the front. But here comes Carson Hocevar 3 wide.
Hocevar on the outside. Kevin Harvick has just received a penalty from Pepsi Cup Series officials for forcing that 24 car below the double yellow line. So he's going to have to find a way to get out of that middle lane and make a pass-through penalty here.
You see the Hendrick guys at the bottom still trying to make something work. They're making it work so far, but Hocevar is just creeping there on the outside, coming to 2 to go now.
Yeah, those Hendrick boys, all 3 Hendrick cars in this duel, lined up on that inside lane, but Hocevar hanging tough, as really it's just gridlock right now and nobody can do anything.
Elliott tried to move up the block a little bit. Now he tries to block. Here comes Hocevar on the outside, coming to the white flag.
Hocevar trying to make things happen as we're coming around to 1 to go. Does anybody jump out and try to make a 3rd line here as we hit the final lap of duel number 1? And there's trouble. Gragson is around. Chandler Smith hits the wall. And Jimmie Johnson is involved as well. Carson Hocevar wins duel number 1 over Chase Elliott, and a big crash happens behind. Johnson's chances of making the Daytona 500 are over, and Sheldon Creed is involved as well. He is also out of the Daytona 500.
Very unfortunate for Jimmie Johnson and the other cars involved, but Carson Hocevar will win the first duel.
Yeah, strong performance from Hocevar. That 77 car won the Daytona 500 last season with Josh Bilicki, so some momentum maybe heading into this season, as you saw Sheldon Creed there. Here are a look at the results. Hocevar, Elliott, Chastain, your top 3.
You see Byron, Hamlin, and Briscoe, as Briscoe was your pole sitter in this duel, finishing P6.
Yeah, Briscoe did make it through that wreck without any damage, so he will be good to start on pole position as long as there's nothing wrong with the car before the race tomorrow afternoon. You could see Kaz Gralla, Sean Winship, Kevin Harvick, Jimmie Johnson, and Sheldon Creed fail to make the show. Greg Biffle and Riley Herbst are through into the Daytona 500. How about that? As now we are going to head back down to Kobe Lavin on the midway for Duel 2.
Welcome back to Daytona, and what a first duel that was. Unfortunately, it ended with a big crash, which you guys should be seeing on screen now, but it worked out well for Greg Biffle and Riley Herbst. Michael is now preparing for this race in just a short few moments, so it'll just be me to take you guys through this overlay before Duel 2. A very shocking Duel 1 has eliminated both Jimmie Johnson and Kevin Harvick from Daytona 500. Two very experienced drivers, but unfortunately that's just super speedway racing. Both stars were up at the front before Harvick dropped back to serve a penalty, and Johnson crashed with Sheldon Creed at the finish. Gragson and Chandler Smith were also caught up in the crossfire, coming to the checkered flag. All drivers seemed to be okay. As we close in on Duel 2, the Pepsi Cup broadcast team will definitely be cheering for our colleague Michael Avery in the 58 car, who looks to make his debut and qualify for the Daytona 500. Michael starts 23rd and last of all open cars, so he has a long way to go. But anything can happen, it's Daytona. Kyle Larson starts P1 in Duel 2, aiming to survive just like Chase Briscoe, so we can start second here tomorrow in the 500. Larson usually doesn't have luck on super speedways, so we'll see how he does tonight. He was running up front at both Talladega races last season before problems took him out late. Also, Season 2 Daytona 500 winner Kyle Busch lines up third. The other Kyle has not had good luck on super speedway since that Season 2 500, but he looks for a strong performance in Race 1 of this season. Starting a little farther back in P7 is rookie full-timer Nick Morris. Nick is driving the 07 car for GS Racing this season. And now, we're going to head to break before beginning Duel 2. On the other side of the commercial, you guys will meet Ethan Shield and Timothy Brown, and they will take everyone through the race. It's bound to be a good one here in Daytona.
I'll never go on like this, so don't you think you got me up, yeah. I can't seem to deal with this, you try so hard to pull me in.
Back here in Daytona, and we are ready for duel number 2. Tim, this is going to be a good one coming up.
Yeah, for sure, especially when we saw it in that first duel at the end. A lot of implications about drivers that should have been able to make the race all got taken out there at the end on the last lap crash. We might see more of that stuff for this duel.
Field rolls off of pit road, and row 1 is made up of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell.
And in row 2, we got Kyle Busch next to Chris Buescher.
Row number 3, we have Tyler Reddick and Todd Gilliland in the 34.
And in row 4, we got Nick Morris, an open driver, next to Shane Van Gisbergen.
Row 5, we have Ryan Preece and Ty Gibbs.
And in row 6 is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. next to Helio Castroneves.
Row 7, we have Justin Allgaier and Michael McDowell.
In row 8, Matt DiBenedetto in the 2 car next to Justin Haley in the 7, your Bud Shootout winner.
Josh Berry lines up alongside an open car of Parker Retzlaff in row number 9.
And in row 10 is John Hunter Nemechek next to BJ McLeod.
Row 11, we have 2 open cars, Cody Ware and Corey LaJoy.
And in row 12 is Michael Avery next to Austin Dillon.
Yeah, Michael abandoned our pre-race set to come out here and race, so exciting for him. We'll wish him the best and see if he can make the show here as the field check their pit road speed. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell getting ready to lead this field to green. Through turn 3 now, coming out of 4, ready to see the green flag here in duel number 2. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell will lead them away.
As we head down into turn number 1, they are still gridlocked side by side. Larson is going to probably have an edge here as we exit turn 2.
Kyle Larson on the bottom, trying to get an advantage, but Bell is not letting it happen. Bell gets a push from Chris Buescher in the edge ahead.
Yeah, a couple good Ford guys up top are going to help him get a good push to try and get around Larson. Now the Chevys of Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson trying to get it back.
Busch trying to give Larson a push. He's going to get sideways,
no.
and there is a wall. It's the big one. Reddick clogs the track. Morris is involved. Christopher Bell with a big piece of it. Kyle Larson. The outside pole sitters all torn up. And the big one happens in duel number 2, taking out more than 10 cars here.
A huge crash there. Larson got turned around. Nick Morris was involved, and Helio Castroneves was also involved. A huge crash here in turn 1.
Yeah, Tim, just a massive crash. Castroneves will not be racing in the Daytona 500. Let's head down to CRC in the pits.
Both Parker Retzlaff and Justin Allgaier have pretty major damage after the crash. Justin's team believes he'll be okay, but Retzlaff's only repairing in desperation.
Christopher Bell has some damage, but it is certainly lucky. It's not every day you can drive back to the pits after being sideways in front of the field. The 20 team hopes that their car may still have pace to stay in the draft.
Thanks for that, KKCS. Just a bad push. The Kyle and Kyle show not going well here, and it just clogged the track. You hate to see it for all of these guys. I mean, so many good cars, some open cars even torn up in this, and yeah, even some of the cars who got through this have a lot of damage. Let's head down to Carson Mohon.
Ty Gibbs had a lot of door damage following that wreck. The team hopes to get Gibbs back out there, but his chances of running into Packer is pretty much over.
Thanks for that, Carson. Ty Gibbs will restart at the back of the field, but again, with a lot of damage as we get ready for the green flag here in Daytona. 3 laps to go in duel number 2.
As you see, a lot of the guys up front are not there anymore. Todd Gilliland leads them down.
Gilliland and McDowell up at the front right now, and look who's there in third. It's Justin Haley. He is trying to have a shot at this. He's currently still going for the trifecta here in Speed Weeks after winning the shootout.
You see the 31 of McDowell gets split 3 wide, and now BJ McLeod down shuts the door on Austin Dillon. He's going to go side by side for the lead with Gilliland.
Look at BJ McLeod, the open entry for Live Fast. Oh, he gets hung out to dry and falls back. And Corey LaJoy is also there as they're 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah, BJ didn't fall too far back. He has help from Nemechek on the outside. They are 3 by 3 throughout the field, coming to the white flag.
Final lap. Here they come into turn number 1. 3 abreast for the top spot. Gilliland on the bottom. You got Dillon in the middle and McLeod on the outside, and they get turned. Huge crash on the final lap, and the caution will fly. And it looks like it's going to go the way of Austin Dillon here in duel number 2.
Oh man, Todd Gilliland upside down. He took a flip there. His car blew right over off of turn 2. Corey LaJoy qualifies into the 500, and Justin Haley will not hit the trifecta.
Michael just qualified for the Daytona 500. He's escaping our pre-race show even more as we speak, as you can see the results here. Corey LaJoy and Michael Avery, the 2 who qualified, as we mentioned. Cody Ware doesn't make it. Parker Retzlaff fails to make it. I mean, a chaotic race, to say the least.
I sure predicted what was going to happen in Duel 1 was going to happen in Duel 2. We had guys up front that were going to make it into the race until the wreck happened. And it's just very unfortunate for these guys. But congratulations to Corey LaJoie and Michael Avery for qualifying in.
Congratulations to them. But on the other side of the equation, BJ McLeod was so close. So close. And that 78 will not be racing at Daytona tomorrow. Just so unfortunate as you see all the carnage here. That 34 was upside down. We'll have a replay of this accident in a bit once we head on to the post-race show with Kobe Lavin and at some point Michael Avery, once I'm sure he finishes celebrating. But Kobe, let's head back down to you and you could take him to the end here.
What a race here in Daytona. Thankfully, the driver of the 34 Ford Mustang, Todd Gillen, walked away after a frightening airborne accident. And that car looks totaled for the race, so let's hope they can get that repaired in time. Corey LaJoie and Michael Avery have qualified for the Daytona 500. As you can hear down farther down pit lane, Michael is cheering with his crew. We should have him here in just a few minutes to talk. But first, let's talk about BJ McLeod. What a run for a small team today, but it just wasn't meant to be. Unfortunately, BJ will join Cody Ware, Parker Retzloff, and Helio Castroneves on the sidelines for the Great American Race. Oh, and now here he comes, the man, the myth, the legend. One of the drivers who did make the race is now here with us.
We made it. We're in the Daytona 500. We're in the show. Let's go. So happy, man.
Yeah. Congrats, Michael. As you might know now, you'll be lining up 14th tomorrow, and will move up because Larson's needing a backup car. How do you do it?
I don't know, man. That's a really good question. I mean, when we were doing practice before the dual race in the draft, running with some of the other drivers, the car just didn't feel very good at any place at all. So overnight, I was with the team. They were making changes on the car to hopefully make it run better in the draft, staying at Daytona till like 3 a.m. But boy, those changes paid off. We struggled a little bit, but then we clawed our way, and we got a really good result. Really happy with this double mint Honda, and just awesome. Just blessed that I'm able to run in the Great American Race. But overall, it was a lot of hard work, grit, determination, and with the wrecks at the end, a little bit of luck, as they were wiped out in those two wrecks, which definitely aided a lot. I won't lie, I was hella nervous coming to the white flag, on the outside looking in. Just really afraid that all this effort that we put in, we're going to go home. But it all worked out in the end. A lot of people talk about how it's super important to make sure that you're at the end for the Daytona 500, but when you're running for these smaller teams like this, it's more important to make the race than actually try and finish the Daytona 500, because getting in is a big deal. Getting that big paycheck for not only, I mean, you get a little bit of paycheck for getting into the race, but also it's the biggest race of the year. It's the richest race of the year. So just being in the race is a big deal, and it'll really help us going forward. But tomorrow it's going to be really busy, having to do all the media stuff for pre-race and prepare to go racing the Daytona 500. Really looking forward to it.
Again, congrats, Michael. You definitely showed out for us broadcast members on how we can also drive a race car like these other.
We know how to turn left. Okay, but no, in all seriousness, we did a really good job, I think. I mean, I qualified, so.
Yeah, you'll probably be a fan favorite out there. But anyways, we definitely have a big show in store for us tomorrow over the course of 25 laps at this 2.5-mile super speedway down in Florida. It's going to be a very fun race.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for everyone that watched the Budweiser Duels, and make sure you are right here on the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series YouTube channel for the race tomorrow. From Ethan Shield and Timothy Brown in the booth to Carson Mohon, Kit Kat Cup Series, and the Cardboard Racing Central in the pits. This is Michael Avery and Kobe Lavin signing out from Daytona.
Peace.